Hey everybody, I'm back. How's everybody doing? They got one person watching. My name is Will. Hi, welcome. Happy Wednesday morning. And thank you for being here today for the Dreaming Guitar Show. I'm having some technical difficulties right now. Today's show, Artist Talk, is featuring Friedman recording artist, Mr. Tim Steffens. And I'm not too sure what's going on. But Tim has not arrived yet in the studio. So I'm just let's give Tim some time. I really like this guy. I like this guitar player. He's really cool, and I want to promote him, and I want to promote the Mo Giles band. So I really like the Mo Giles band. So while we're waiting for Mr. Tim Steffens to arrive, you're watching the Guitarist Dreaming 352 show. And as I said, today our special guest is the one and only Tim Steffens. And as soon as Mr. Steffens arrives, I will pop him up immediately. I'm going to talk to Mr. Steffens as soon as he arrives. He's a guitarist for the Mo Giles band and the creator of Friedman Tones, in addition to shredding on rock and roll relic guitars. And I'm looking forward to talking to him about his tones, his amps, and his guitars. If you like my content, please follow my social links in the description box below. Plus also Tim Steffens' social links are down in the box below. Please follow, share, and like all of them. Check out my PayPal. My PayPal link in the description box below. If you like my content, you can support my channel. And $1 is all that it takes for me to step one step closer to my show, or actually to my goals. Share the stream, even if it's only me. Why not? Share the stream with everyone you know so today we can make a positive difference in someone's life. Thank you so very much for joining me, and hit that subscribe button. Smash that bell notification so that you don't miss any content from Guitarist Dreaming 352. This stream is dedicated to my PayPal donors. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Goes to Design 39 Media. A very big thank you also goes to Dimbula Blade Works in Victoria, Australia. Check out Dimbula. Well, while we're waiting for our guests to arrive, let's talk about why the Guitarist Dreaming 352 show is important. as you can see, I believe in this. That I believe in it so much that I got a shirt made out. I believe in my vision so much that I got a shirt made out. That I created this show. Me creating Artist Talk is because I like to promote, I like to talk to other like-minded musicians that love gear, that play, that write songs, that produce music, that mix their own music. I just love to talk to other people. There's somebody in the chat room. We had 3 people showing or viewing. Welcome. Mark Laria's here. What's up with Eddie Van Halen? Oh, Mark, while I'm waiting for my guests here, I don't know what to say about that. I'm not going to buy into anything. The only reason, Mark, why I say I'm not going to buy in anything is because why am I having trouble connecting? Maybe that's why our guest is not here. Trouble logging into your stream. Bear with me. Oh, Tim Stephens is trying to log in right now, as a matter of fact. That's wonderful. I'll be right back. And here he is, introducing Friedman recording artist, Mr. Tim Stephens. How you doing, Tim?
How you doing? I finally managed to get it working.
That's okay. That's okay. Welcome to the Dreaming Guitarist Show.
Awesome. Great to be here.
Thank you for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you.
So, are you out in California? Is that where you are?
Well, yeah. There's some other things that some of the followers of the show were asking, but it's those kind of things that I really don't want to approach. And I want to be careful what I say, you know what I mean? So
I got you.
taking the high road.
No worries, man. No worries. That's fine.
So how are you? Welcome, Tim. How are you?
I'm good. I'm a little bit tired today. I was filming. We were playing on a TV show yesterday with my band, so we spent like 6 hours in an old damp theater in the very bottom of Mississippi. So yeah, it's all good though. All good.
Wonderful. So
Cool.
even though we really didn't have a chance to chat a little bit,
Sure.
I did come up with some questions.
All right.
So let's see. I said that. there's my PayPal donors. You know, there's some very, very kind people who watch the show and who support this show. But for
Sure.
you, sir, tell me the Mo Giles band. I was checking that out and
Okay.
the live performance, and it was beautiful. I was like, wow.
Oh, okay. I don't know what is out there on the internet at the moment for them to for people to see of us playing and stuff. But yeah, it's a fun band. We're like a Texas country band, I suppose you could say, but we're all covered in tattoos, so they call it bro country.
All right. Well, I noticed. Well, this will be quick.
No, you're fine.
What pardon me, sorry, I kind of have a little scratchy throat today, so I do apologize for that.
It's fine. You're fine.
Thank you, Tim.
Mm-hmm.
So tell me, what does inspiration mean to you, Tim? What inspires you?
That's a tough question. I don't know. I've always been inspired by great guitar sounds. Is kind of pretty much what I say to everybody. You know, like when I was a kid, I used to listen to like Exile on Main Street by the Rolling Stones and like Zeppelin 2, you know, and get like inspiration just from hearing those guys play guitar. But I could never, when you first start out as a kid playing guitar, you can't recreate those guitar sounds because they don't make those amps. Do you mean like for beginners, you know, so you got your little pig nose or a gorilla amp, you know, that you plugged into.
Yes.
And
yes.
no matter what you dial the tones in, it doesn't even matter what guitar you're playing, but those little, you just can't find those guitar sounds, you know. So I always used to just try and figure, like, you know, plug in. I used to have my parents, for some reason, they had this huge vinyl record player. It was like it had a radio in it and a record player and it had a tape machine, you know. But it actually had like an input where you could actually plug, I don't know, something external into it. And because it was an old valve unit, so it was like an old like 50s one. I don't know how old they are, but 40s or 50s. You know, I actually got a better sound actually plugging into those, you know. And that at least you can get that kind of crusty sound from those old records. You know, like Link Ray. I don't know if you've ever heard Link Ray. He used to get these crazy sounds by like cutting the guitar speaker, you know. But then when I like hit like 13, they decided to buy me a portable CD player, and they actually chucked out the old vinyl player, so I didn't have my cool sound anymore. So then I had to start investing in buying old amps and stuff just to get those sounds that I wanted, you know. So, but they're the kind of things that inspire, like just old records, old guitar sounds, you know, good songs and stuff. So.
Boy, I'll tell you. I'll tell you, there is just something about, say, not to really quote a cliche or anything, but Led Zeppelin 1.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, when you listen to that, and it's like, it's amazing just the tone,
yeah,
and the production that Jimmy Page achieved with that. That's just blows me away every time I listen to it.
Yeah. All those. I think he used is it a Telecast you used on that album? But when I moved over here in 2015, I think it was. I think it was 2016. They actually released at NAMM show. Supro released the Black Magic amp and head and stuff, and I instantly jumped on one of those because I thought that was, you know, yeah, that is actually, I've actually got like the head version of that, which I use a multi-amp setup when I go live, but they are spot on. The actual combos are a little bit better than the heads, but yeah, that's the sound, the old Supro and the Telecaster. You can You can get that old communication breakdown sound, which is
Oh yeah.
that was always like the hardest song to find as well, to find the tone. And you can't get it when you can't get it out of those. You can't even get it out of a line 6. You can't get it out of an Axe effects or anything. You have to have those little tiny speakers, you know, the little golden, which you can find over here. Actually, that's what one great thing about when I first moved to America is you can go to the old how do they pronounce it, pawn shop, PAWN, and you can find old amps and like old radios and things that you can like actually plug your guitar into and get some crazy noises, you know.
That's wonderful.
Uh,
Being able to have that kind of access to be
Yeah.
able to
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. It is very inspiring indeed. What's your favorite piece of guitar gear and why?
Favorite piece of guitar gear and why? Hang on, let me just move my cat. Ow. I don't actually have it with me. I would actually get it out, but the like it's an old. How do I describe this? It's actually a Gibson guitar from the 70s. They like a Les Paul custom, and there's this kind of like real kind of cool story about those. Basically, like you know, like when Les Paul, he originally built the Les Pauls, and they all had these kind of P90s, P94s, or no P90s, and an Alnico in the neck, Alnico 5. I would love to show you, but basically they all the way through until 1956 when they started putting the PAFs in the Les Pauls. They were using these P90s and with the Alnico in the neck. Okay,
Yes.
and they are actually killer sounding guitars, but the kind of secret thing about them is basically when they started, like, because they had to build quite a lot of necks and bodies and stuff, and when they had to start moving over to cut the bodies for humbuckers, they had like loads of guitars left over that they couldn't build because they had the P90s, like the routing for them, you know. So the legend is that they put all those into storage, those guitars, which are from the 50s. You know, like if you want to buy one of those now, you're talking $50,000 or something, you know. But they put those into storage, and then I think it was like 1972, they did a limited edition reissue where they used those husks, basically the neck and bodies, and put them out as a reissue. Wow. So I managed to buy one in Denmark Street in London. I think I paid only like £3,000 or £4,000 for it, and that was back in like 2010. But yeah, the legend is that if you buy one of those, you actually get in the original old pickups from the 50s. It's actually a Gibson from the 50s, but they just put the LE in front of the serial number to make it like a different, like a limited edition. But like, if there's anyone, I don't know if there's anyone actually logged on and listening, but if you actually go and like research those guitars, like they just sound killer, and they feel old. And I left it back home in England when I moved over because I didn't want to have to try and ship it over. So, but that's my favorite piece of gear, just because I don't think you can replace that, you know. And I like the secret behind it, you know, like the conspiracy theories of Gibson and stuff.
Yeah. They make those conspiracy theories make you think, you know.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, there's a lot of theories out there for all kinds of gear, but I don't know. Being a tone junkie is fun but expensive.
So before I get to my next question, well, actually, it is how ironic it is. Well, not really ironic, but what do you love about rock and roll relic guitars and Friedman amps?
Okay, this is an easy question, and that actually links to my last answer. But yeah, like because I didn't want to take that guitar on the road anymore. I approached Billy. I actually met Billy in San Francisco when my old band was playing in over there, and Billy at Rock and Roll Relics builds wonderful guitars, and they are made. You know, the Les Pauls now are kind of slightly different shape, but he crafts them to be just like the original ones. You know, and I asked him if he could recreate that Les Paul that I was just talking about for when I come over here. I've got it here somewhere. I'll go and get it in 2 seconds. But he did basically. He asked me for all the photos, and he asked me for the weight of it, and what kind of sizes on the neck, you know. But he builds all my guitars now, and I've got like about 6 of his guitars. But they just like, I like big necks. I'm not a tapper or anything, you know. I like classic rock, and you know, Jimmy Page and Ronnie Wood and all those kind of guys. I like those kind of guitar sounds. But all the guitars that he actually builds, there's a lot of attention to detail. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even down to him selecting what wood to use and stuff. You know, so. But yeah, he makes killer guitars. So I can't speak more highly of that guy, Billy. He was actually a rock star in his own right since he was in Jet Boy and stuff, you know. But Friedman is, God. I think my entire career, and everyone's probably guilty of this because you're obviously always trying to find the perfect amp, the perfect sound, you know. And I was always like growing up, I was always into like plugging into like just an old Marshall Plexi and diming it, you know, and using like some. And I'm not a channel switcher guy. I normally use the guitar tone, like the volume, to clean it up, you know. But yeah, all through up until about 2009, I was using Soldano amps. I had a what was it called? It wasn't the SLO. It was like a Hot Rod 100 or Hot Rod 50, and it was a single channel head. You know, it was just one channel. So I was using that, and it was all right, but it wasn't the sound that was in my head. You know, and then someone let me try a Bogner Ecstasy. So I had a Bogner Ecstasy for a long time, which is actually a killer amp. I do miss the Bogner Ecstasy. And I had that for a few years in and out of the studio, but then I heard about the myth again, being that you know, Dave Friedman was modding these amps for guys and stuff, you know, and he built I think it was a Phil X video. He actually demoed the Brown Eye back in around 2010 or 2011 or maybe a little bit later. Yes. And I literally, as I was watching that video, someone sent me the link on Facebook. I leapt out of my chair when I heard the first chord. He just hit an E chord. I was like, "That's the sound right there. That's it." So and back in those days, like, I mean, this is only like 8 years ago. You couldn't even get them in England. Like, they weren't available. There's no dealer in England that you could go to and try out a Friedman Brown Eye. So I managed to find one in America, and I imported it. And actually, that amp, I'm really sad that I don't own that amp anymore, because it was one of the best amps that I've ever played. Just so, like, it's super tight, you know, like there's no flubby bass notes, and there's none of that fizzy metal kind of sound. You can obviously dial it in if you want, but just hitting one chord on those amps is magical, you know. And I've been literally when I moved here, Dave, he actually that's when he put me on the artist list and built me a Brown Eye that I use, and one of those little pink taco heads for smaller shows is what I was using. And I was never a fan of the channel switching. I never really used the clean channel or the HBE channel. And I know there's probably a lot of viewers out there saying, "What? You're not using the HBE channel? That's the best channel." But to me, I'm not like a big super gain guy. I like using like high gain.
Absolutely.
And although in the studio those kind of sounds work, I found that like actually taming the gain back and turning the volume up just gave me a bigger sound.
Yes.
You know, it wasn't so hollow. But Dave makes probably the best amps in the world. You know, and like there's tried and tested. If you just see all the people that are using his amps now, is you know, like he just builds fantastic amps, absolutely great. And I'm not really using cabs anymore. I haven't used because obviously like in-ear monitors. These aren't in-ear. These are just these are just stupid iPhone ones. But like in-ear monitors now, since everyone uses those nowadays, there's not really much use for. People are going to get real angry, but any use for cabs? But I mean, there is if you put it in like in a isolated situation, like a recording studio. But in live situations, if you're playing like big stadiums, you can just chuck those cabs like the 4x12s into like a big flight case and basically get an isolation cabinet, you know. But there's some great things out there where you can capture the sound at zero on stage level, you know. And those amps, the Friedman amps, they can take anything. They're always going to sound good no matter what you put them through, really. But yeah, I've always enjoyed playing in his amps. His amps are fantastic. And I know I bug him on email a lot. I always send him emails about asking him questions. But
Well, have you ever had a chance to try one of these two pedals right here?
Yes. I've actually got the that's the Dirty Shirley pedal, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I've actually got downstairs. I've got this flyboard where if I'm playing somewhere where I don't need to use all the amps, it's like a small stage, or you know, if I'm like sometimes my band Mojars will play like a pool party or something around, you know, where you've got zero space but you need the sound the same, and I use the Dirty Shirley pedal.
Well,
it's a killer sound. And the Golden Pearl, I had to go at throwing that in front of the Brown Eye, and I just couldn't get used to it because I already had one of those Tone Freak. I've got a Tone Freak, which is what it's based on. So, go on. Sorry, I'm interrupting you.
No, that's okay. Quite all right. I just I really like the Golden Pearl. When you I've noticed that when I turn the gain all the way down and just use it as basically like a mid boost.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
When you stack it with the Dirty Shirley, and then you throw in the Buxom boost on top of that.
Oh wow!
You can really.
Where'd you put the Buxom boost?
The Buxom boost would go before the Dirty Shirley.
Oh, okay. So you're going Golden Pearl, Buxom.
Yes.
Dirty Shirley. All right.
Yes.
That's cool. I mean, the Buxom Betty one, or Buxom Boost or whatever. I've played with that one too. And the tone shaping options are the thing that's the best thing about those pedals for me. Because I do the same thing. I keep the gain down low, like you, and hit the front of the pedal or hit the front of the amp with it. But the tone shaping options are much better than. And I like those. You know those ones. You know those little. This is off piece now, but like a micro amp. You know, like one knob, clean boost.
Oh yeah.
Those kind of pedals are good, but I do like having the tone, like to pump up the mids and stuff on things. You know. Never had a go on one. Any good?
Yeah, that's his deluxe.
Yeah. I've never played. I played the single version. I've never played the deluxe.
Have you ever tried the No More Tears Raw?
No, no, I don't. Is that good to you?
It's awesome. When you have the dip switch that you knock down to the bottom position, that's perfect for clean tones, I found. And then when you hit the dip switch up to the up position, just perfect, like for the BOD or the Dirty Shirley. It just
Yeah.
nailed it.
What are you plugging those Friedman pedals into? Are you
Oh,
going direct into something, or
what kind of
what's your
power supply?
what kind of amp are you putting it into?
Oh,
Or are you just going direct into anything? What you?
well, I don't have one.
Oh, okay. No, you're fine. You're fine.
I just use I'm getting in preparation. There's a one-man show concept that I'm kind of trying to develop, and I'm putting together a pedal board for that, which is what
Cool.
all these pedal boards are for. And
Yeah.
but right now, this morning, I did a little pedal demo on the BLD Deluxe. I didn't really play a whole lot. I just wanted to focus on the tone
Yeah.
and, how great this pedal sounds when you turn the gain down
Sure.
and turn up the volume.
Yeah.
And
That's the sound right there. That's the sound.
that is. And I love it. And I my whole thing is that I've done the whole stack thing, the whole life 412 cap thing, but
Sure.
I've really gotten it. I really have gotten into direct outs.
Yeah.
Direct.
But what are you using? Are you using like a 2 notes, or like
Oh,
like have you got a cab sim or like a power amp simulator or anything like that coming in?
oh. For recording, I have. Um, I can basically take a clean tone out of my DAW,
Oh,
and
okay.
I can use the Waves GT3,
Gotcha.
which is phenomenal. Take a clean tone from that. Take a clean tone from my Paul Reed Smith Dallas plugin,
Yeah. Okay.
or I could take it one step further, and I'm gonna be doing a spot tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. on my brand new Positive Grid Vice Effects 2.
Oh, okay. Cool.
And that's what I'm basically using to
Mm.
write songs and to write new material and just
Yeah.
practice or whatnot. I like to use my Boss Katana 50. And then
Yeah.
I run the pedals into the clean tone of my
Yeah.
Boss Katana 50.
Yeah.
That's all I have right
Oh,
now.
sorry, my cat's getting in the way. Cash, out of
Beautiful. I have two cats myself.
the
That's
way.
wonderful.
Go make the coffee.
I'm a big
Yeah.
I'm a big cat person.
Yeah.
Oh, and even though predominantly our conversation is about, see, I would love to get a rock and roll relic guitar.
Mm.
I've checked them out,
Yeah, they're great.
checked out the website. I've checked out what their offerings are and stuff.
Sure.
And I just haven't been able to get to that point yet.
Sure.
So I've had to pretty much make do with what I have right now.
Mm.
And also, until I can, well, until I'm able to get a Friedman amp, which
Mm.
I if I have my choice, if I have my rathers, it would probably be the small box 50.
That's a great amp.
It's
It's a
a
great
great.
amp. That's a great amp. Yeah.
that. I prefer that tone. Uh, but for the meantime, for recording and writing, I'm just using the tried and true Boss GT1.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
You know, it is what it is, and that's what works.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
what's helped me get started anyway.
Yeah, no, I
I
understand that.
I'm I love gear, but my heart is definitely leans toward the Friedman gear.
Yeah, yeah. No, that he makes a. I mean, all of his amps, every single amp that he builds, has got a certain. It's got the flavor of the original Brown Eye sound that he went out with, and it's just like a tweak on the tone, or how much gain there's on tap. There's like um, they make one called the X amp. It's that Phil-X guy, and that amp is like actually it's not super gain. It's got as much gain as you need for me. But the great thing about that amp is that he's got the second master volume. So it's like a boost in volume if you want it for solos and stuff. And that's a killer amp too. But the small box, that plexi channel on the small box is killer. Really good. So
I I I, I hope that I'm able to. I At one time or another. Well, I'm not too sure really how becoming a Friedman artist works. I just know that I love the brand.
yeah.
And I love the tone, and I know how important that brand and that tone is to me for the sound that's in my head.
Yeah.
That
Well,
that
that's the most important thing anyway, is like achieving the sound that's in your head. It's nice to be able to hit the mark with that, So it's great. You're a good ambassador for the brand. I like it.
Thank you, thank you. No, I appreciate you. I appreciate your talent, and I appreciate you know I appreciate everything that you're doing with the Mo Giles band. I was listening to you, and I was watching the band's performance, and I saw your Friedman, and I also saw a Supro.
Yeah. Yeah, I use the Supro as well.
Tell me, if you don't mind me asking, what do you like about your Supro amp?
Well, that's like going back to the Jimmy Page story. That's the Black Magic head.
Oh, that's a Black Magic.
Yeah, that's the Black Magic head.
Beautiful,
And
beautiful.
I use them together for solos, and I can switch between them with one of those radial switches. Like you can have like the brown eye sound, or it depends which Friedman I take out with it. Depending on the show that we're playing. The bigger stages, I prefer to use the brown eye. But yeah, you can have the Friedman on its own, the Super EOS, and then to put them together for solos, you get a big thick sound, which like until you've done it, until like people have done it that way, nobody knows how much fun playing with multiple amps is. You know,
Amazing,
I used to use
amazing.
I used to use a matchless in instead of a Supro. The old matchless
Hmm.
amps. Which are super loud, but they're so expensive. It's so expensive to keep on the road. So I started using Supro, and actually, the Supro amps are so the way they're built. If one of your valves go like pop when you're on the road, the fuse doesn't go out. It's kind of strange. There's no fuse for you to have to replace. You just it just stops working. So you just take that dodgy valve out and put the new valve in, and they're just indestructible, those amps. And I think that's one of the biggest things about being on the road as well. You want to have gear that is reliable. If something happens to one of the power valves, you can walk into a guitar center or a guitar store somewhere and be able to get your amp back on the road without having to go and have a huge bill. And the Friedman amps Dave builds his amp so well that I've never had a problem with one of those. I had a valve go out on the Supro, but that was an easy fix, you know.
Have you?
So, go on.
Thank you, sir. Have you had a chance to experience the SS100 amp yet?
That's the Steve Stevens one.
Yes.
Yeah, I've not tried one. I've seen some people use one, and I've seen it played at NAMM actually. But no, I've never plugged into it myself. What about you? Have you ever played one?
No, I never have. When Mr. Friedman came out with released that originally, I listened to it, and I thought to myself, that's Steve's tone. That's Steve's tone right there. That's his his tone. I that's a early Billy Idol tone right there in that.
Yeah, yeah,
And I I I mean, being a lover of all things Billy Idol,
right. Yeah, I know.
I understand, that tone.
Yeah,
It's just
I remember seeing.
amazing.
I remember seeing um, when I first got the pink taco from Dave.
Yeah.
I sent it back to him because I wanted it to sound a bit bigger, but it was actually my like I didn't realize that the amp was the valves were broken in it. So I sent it back to him. I was like, it just sounds really thin. Like I don't know if this. He was like, send it back to me and I'll have a look. And he managed to fix it for me. But at the same time that he had that on the bench, I saw there was a video where Steve Stevens had brought his old Plexi in, the original one that Dave had modded for him with, I suppose, a brown eye circuit or whatever. And I think the video is still on YouTube as well. But it was basically A being between, like, I think his Steve Stevens amp and the Plexi that he originally used and has used for years, and it
Wow.
shows you how close they are. And that was like, I was that. It's another reason for you to go, yeah, this guy knows what he's doing. This guy knows what he's doing when he can recreate stuff that he's already done in someone's amp and then put it into a brand new box and it still sounds the same. You know what I mean?
That must have been a real surreal experience.
Mm, mm.
Gosh, think about that. Wow. Wow, I'm still trying to process that. That must have been something.
Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to say hi real quick. Mark Laria. I'm a guy half full. I'm a half glass half full guy, hoping for the best. Have a great day. Well done. Well, thanks for coming, Mark.
Mm-hmm.
Bam. Howdy,
Bam.
well done, Tim. Hey,
How you doing? Is
Mark
that Mark?
Laria. Hey, Tim.
How you doing, Mark? You good?
Mark Taylor. Hey, Will. Tim. Everybody, I love everybody in my chat room. They're phenomenal. Bam. Howdy, Mark. I see him every week and I appreciate him so much.
Oh, there you go. There's a guy who knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, look at that. All
Oh, they're
right.
talking. That's a different pickup though. He's talking about the humbuckers. It's
Amazing.
the 72 I've got is it's got P90s. Well,
Uh-huh.
one P90 and the Alnico in the neck. So, but that's a guy who's got a 72. I like that. Old vintage guitars, man. That's what you got to go at.
Definitely. That's phenomenal. That's funny. Ninja's back. Hey, Ninja. Just dropping by. Thumbs up, Tim and Will. All right. Thank you, Ninja. Pooh Ninja, that is. Bam. Yeah, saying hi to Ninja. So many using IRs instead of actual counts and mites. Yeah.
I'm guilty. I'm guilty of that. It's the ears thing, man. It's the ears thing. It's in ears. Using in ears nowadays, like you don't need to. Like still in the studio, I'll use cabs in the studio, but if I don't have to lug around a couple of 4x12s, I'll use the two notes. You know.
So
sound engineers love them because of the isolation too. The isolation on stage.
So how exactly? I'm sorry. How exactly do you run your two heads into your in-ears?
Okay, so you got a flight case with 2 amps, and you come out the speaker output, and it basically they're 2 notes. They're 2 notes. Studio, I think it's called, or studio, or something. And basically, it's got a. I've got one of the things here. Look, it's kind of got one of these built in it. I don't know if anyone's seen one of these reactive load boxes. It's called a captor. It's basically a load box. So it takes it's basically acting like a speaker. So you've got a load, but it's got what these guys 2 notes. They actually build a rack unit that has one of these kind of things built in it, plus the impulse response part. So I use 2 racks. I've got 2 rack units basically, and each head gets plugged into one of those separately, and then basically an XLR basically comes out of the back of the rack and goes to the mixer, and then out of there, that's where you split to the Uranium monitors and things like that, you know. But two notes kind of rule the roost for that as well.
I love 2 note stuff.
Yeah, the French, man, they got it going on. It's about the only thing they've got going on in the music world, I think, except for like Vigier guitars. I think I don't know what else they do. And wires or whatever. Yeah.
Thank you, Tim. Johnny Bean's here. Hey, dudes. Got to hit the freeway, but stopping by to say keep rocking. Will Dunham. Johnny's a good dude. He's solid. He's good people. Bam. Yep. Saying hi to Johnny. Yo, Bam. It's a whole lot easier on tour.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. I'm agreeing, Bam. I'm in agreement.
Yeah.
Sound guys love the isolation, so not getting any bleed from the drummer or the bass player through those mics, you know, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Direct out.
Especially on small stages as well. Big stages, you get the isolation, you know.
If your tech is good enough, you don't need to use amps either.
I'm kind of on the line about that, and that's no disrespect. Like, because there's certain, like, I've played a couple of back effects, and what's that one that you can mic up your amp and you what was it? I can't even remember. It's like, it looks like a spaceship control panel, like a big computer. But those, as much as those guys have come on, I can't get the feel, like the touch response that you can get from an amp with those kind of computer simulators of a guitar amp. Like, they're good, but I still haven't managed to cross the line, because every time, like, I tried it. I can't remember what it's called now. A Fractal? No, Fractal's the Axe-Fx. What's the other one? Who's that guy? Kemper. That was it, Kemper. And we tried it. We tried doing it's like cloning the amp into a Kemper, and it just didn't feel right to me. And I don't know what it is. I can't. I suppose if I was more of a high gain guy, it wouldn't matter so much. But I like the Supro sound and the Friedman amp, or any modded plexi has got a certain sag to it when you hit it. If you hit an A chord, you know, and you got the gain kind of on the edge of breakup sound. I can't describe that. Those I just can't get it out of a computer. A computer just doesn't work for me, and I don't know what it is. It just doesn't respond to, like, even if you turn the guitar down a little bit, it doesn't do the same thing. So I haven't made the jump yet, and I know a few guys haven't made the jump yet for that reason. Long live the Valve amp. I'm gonna get loads of haters for saying that.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. You know, you can't, that headroom,
Yeah.
kind of hard to find anything to top that, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty important, to say the least. What is your most memorable show that you have ever played?
Wow. Okay. Memorable show. I think my most memorable show. I don't know if your audience know about my other bands. I used to basically play. I used to play in a 90s band called EMF. They had that song, "You're Unbelievable." I was playing guitar for them from like 2007, I think, up until when I left to come here. If anyone's watched that Coyote Ugly, it's in that movie. The song is bigger than the band, so which is an unfortunate concept. But yeah, I remember playing. I think it was my second show with those guys, and we played at Brixton Academy in England, in London.
Yes.
And they were, I don't know, like basically in those days when you got like a guitar tech setting all your amps up and stuff, and it's 5,000 people in a place. I was really excited during sound check, and then when we were getting ready, because they all wanted to wear like a UV makeup, like a UV paint. So when the house lights went down, they had all these big UV bulbs around the stage, like big purple ones, So when the house lights went down and then the crowd starting, they're all like screaming, like 5,000 people screaming. It's I got goosebumps just thinking about it. And when all your makeup just starts glowing, all the face paint, that's when my right hand went in my guitar tech. Was you all right? You need a beer or something? Like, I was like, I'm good. But then walking out, I think that's the most memorable thing is walking out and hitting that first chord. I think it was my second show, and it was like one of the coolest experiences. Only 5,000 people, but it was still like you couldn't recognize anyone's faces, kind of thing, because there's that many people, But yeah, hearing that your guitar like reverberate in a huge, like a Victorian theater is there's something kind of spectacular about that. It's always one of those, I've got lots of stories like playing with those guys, but that's one of the coolest ones because I was so fresh. You know what I mean? I was like 27 and I jaded by the music industry, and then getting to join those guys, back then, and the beers tasted sweet that night. I can tell you that. After the gig, that was
No
fun.
doubt.
Yeah. So.
Do you have any advice for young musicians wanting to play live?
Yeah, definitely. Just have fun. I think that's like the biggest thing that people forget these days, especially when you're, like when you're first starting out, is just to have fun. And if you're not having fun, you know, you need to be either in a different band or you know, play I don't know, do something different because you got to have fun. When I first started out, when you're young, you know, your parents have like high hopes that you're going to do this or you're going to do this. And I think I was playing football at the time. I had to choose between soccer and music, you know, and I started playing out live in those days, and I was enjoying guitar more than I was enjoying soccer. You know what I mean? And I know my dad was. If my dad's watching, I'm sorry, Dad, but I just chose the music because it was so much more enjoyable, you know. And I've kind of applied that throughout my career. Is if I'm not enjoying it, let's say I'm not enjoying that band anymore, or I'm not enjoying that side of it, I'll change, and I've always done guitar and I've always done music, but I always follow where I'm having fun. If I'm not having fun, I'm not into it, you know. And it does, and to kids, you know, it doesn't matter how. It doesn't matter about how fast you are. It doesn't matter about like how loud you are or how much gain you got, because tone's here. It's in your fingers, you know. Like this is what you got to work on. Is like no matter what guitar you play, you're always gonna sound like you. You're gonna sound like you. So all that enjoyment or not enjoyment is going to be expressed through your guitar. So the more fun you can have, that's where it's at for me. Just have fun and make as many mistakes as you can while you're young, because when you're old, it might get... just have fun, kids.
Isn't it amazing that when you play, and I mean, you could be, you know, you could be lighthearted in a real good mood, putting out all sorts of positive energy and everything. But at least I found for myself, if there's something that deep inside of me that is unresolved or is bothering me,
Sure.
that could break through all the positive, all the everything, and that could still come out.
Yeah.
You know, and it's hard. It's hard. It's hard. And if a person, if myself, I'll speak for myself here. If I could push through that, then I just kind of shake it off. I kind of go, okay, I see what's going on. I recognize it for what it is, and
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
I totally agree. Like, I think one of the worst times for any musician, not the worst time, like if you're getting prepared for a show, let's say it's you got an hour before you're gonna walk on stage, that whole hour can totally affect your whole performance if something happens. Do you know what I mean? Let's say your partner phones you up and they're like, hey, look, you didn't put the bins out for the bin man, you know, the trash. You didn't put the trash out so it could get collected in the morning. And you're like, I'm just about to walk on stage. You know what I mean? Like suddenly the whole vibe can totally change for you, because then you're not going to enjoy it because you're thinking about different things, you know?
absolutely.
Yeah, I've experienced that a few times back in my early days when I was younger. But yeah, I know, I totally agree that is, you know, I think part of the psyche of playing music and stuff, you know, is you got to be in a good place. Do you know what I mean? Which is
You,
tough as well, because sometimes you haven't got a choice. You have to be great no matter what. Do you know what I mean? Because you're there to play. People were there to people have paid money to come and watch your band. You've actually got to be on form, you know. But yeah, no, I totally agree with you there. Totally agree.
well, have you? Thank you for sharing that, Tim. Thank
No
you.
worries.
Thank you for letting me share it too. I appreciate that.
Yeah, totally. I like hearing stories.
Have you ever tried the Synergy modules?
No, no, I haven't. Which is one thing I've been like thinking about for a while. Because I remember Randall, the company Randall amps, they
Yes.
used to make that thing where you could have the modular. And I saw that Dave did he did like the modules for the Synergy, which I think it's the same. I think it's the same pattern of that's the same style of thing, you know. And the only thing that puts me off is I remember those Randalls breaking down. Because like flying in, I've got a flyboard downstairs, like I told you, with the Dirty Shirley pedal on it, and I've got a 2 notes box on that board. But I was thinking about grabbing one of those Syn 1 Synergy things with like a brown eye, and I think it's like the Buxom Betty, or I don't know. It's got some stuff in it. Basically, I was thinking about using that with a pedal board for fly dates, but the only thing that stopped me from doing it is on the road. I've got you want it to be I want it to be reliable, and I think those old Randalls, you know, because it's just a circuit board that kind of slots in. It scares me. It just scares me. So if anyone watching, if you actually have a Synergy and you can actually like convince me that it's reliable, I'll be up for the challenge of trying one out. I think because they're not that much money on the grand scheme of things. And also, do they sound like it, the Friedman? That's another point, right? Chime in.
Nothing sounds like a Friedman. I mean, there's so many great amp companies out now, but
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, I'm I'm loyal to that sound in my head.
Yeah.
Because that sound, that tone in my head, hit E minor, do an upstroke on the strings,
Yeah.
do like whole chord uh, strumming, but only like fingering like A, D, and G, and then
Yeah.
doing all, that sound, that one, that
Yeah.
I don't know how
And
to describe it. It's just
you're not wrong either. It's the sound like I can't describe it. It's that chewy, woody sound that, you know, just hitting a chord like that. It does get you. I don't know if you're into Malcolm Young. You into Malcolm Young from AC/DC?
oh
Like
no,
that sound, like anything from that sound to like to Jimmy Page to early Van Halen. Just like I'm not the super gainy stuff. It's just that's the sound right there, you know. And you can get that out of a Freeman.
it just
So,
works in any situation.
which is the sound in your head. So you're not wrong there, man.
Do you have any questions for me?
For you,
Yeah,
I've asked you a lot of questions. Let's think. Uh, do you drink tea? And if so, what tea do you like to drink?
I do drink tea,
Okay.
and I would definitely say that what's that Celestial Seasonings, the tea brand Celestial Seasonings.
Yeah. Yeah. I know you mean.
I really like their spice and their chamomile.
Okay. So it's like so yeah. Yeah. No, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. I drink a lot of black tea. In it, well, English people do anyway, especially the Yorkshire tea. Anyone that's English, just getting. If you know anyone like near where you live, get them to bring you some Yorkshire tea. But
Mm,
it's like black tea, so you kind of have it with like sugar and milk, and you mix it together. You steep
yes,
it that way, and that's how the Queen drinks it anyway. But yeah, I'm a huge tea fan. So, but that's herbal tea is what you drink, right? Herbal tea.
yes,
Mm.
yes, and I'm also a real big chai tea drinker.
Mm. Yeah, my girlfriend she likes peppermint tea
Mm.
because it doesn't have any caffeine in it. But I like the caffeine, so Give me the strong caffeine. I'm always up for that.
And what I usually tell people, I mean, I'm on a mission. I'm on a musical mission to get all my music, to get my because I wear my heart on my sleeve about this stuff.
Mm.
It's so important. It's so important to me that I always ask people to be sure to follow, support, share, like, and subscribe to all the links in the description box, which also include your links, which thank you, by the way. Thank you for sending them to me.
Yeah, no worries, man.
They are in the description box of this show. Tim thank you, and I thank you. Join our brotherhood and community so we all can work together to inspire the world
Exactly.
and help people around us to explore their creative heart and soul.
Exactly.
It's just something that well,
Everyone
I
should be able to create and explore creativity. It's like that's what makes the world go round. You know, no one should ever like stop people from being creative and exploring. Like exploring creativity goes from exploring like trying 10 amps and seeing what the differences are and what you like about and what you don't, to sitting there and trying different chord progressions out which sound good to you. You know, I love that. I love that musicologist that he trash talked Frank Zappa that time, because saying that I can't remember what the chord progression that Frank Zappa was using, but he said it won't work. And Frank Zappa made it a personal, I think it was like a personal vendetta then to actually make this chord progression work. And I think he had a hit with that chord progression, you know. And that's just from trying, just from whatever sounds good to you is good, you know. Just create and explore different things, you know. And I think that should be for all life as well, you know. Like go and try different foods, try different things, you know. That's the best thing about this world, is that you can go to different countries and try different foods and different. You can even wear different clothes every day if you want. You know, you just try things out. Whatever works for you is fun. You know, having fun is the most important thing in life. So.
That's it, really. You know, the have you ever been to Scotland?
Yes, many a time. Don't go to Glasgow. Go to Edinburgh. Edinburgh is a really beautiful city. I never really got on with Glasgow very well, but Edinburgh is fun. They have a lot of castles and stuff that you can go and get drunk in all the bars and have some fun. You know.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Loch Ness?
No, I haven't. Kind of disappointed that I haven't been there actually. Cause
no, that's okay.
I'd like to be the person that discovers Loch Ness monster. You know.
Well, I have a special attachment to Loch Ness and the early century Scotland, and just very briefly, I when I went there, when I went to Europe, you know, while I was in England, I saw Piccadilly Square, I saw Stonehenge, you know, all that great stuff. But by the time I got to Scotland was the end of my tour around Europe.
Yeah.
Went to Loch Ness, the Inverness pub the night before, and pretty much there all night. Had a very interesting conversation with a man who was the owner of the Inverness pub. Well, in Inverness, you have the Inverness Castle.
Yeah.
And the Inverness Castle the road to the Inverness Castle was closed off. I didn't know why.
Right.
I'm like, I don't know. I don't know anything. I just got here. So I had to ask. It was all dark and it was high
Yeah.
along the hill. And there were these purple lights shining up on it. So I was like, wow, man, that got my attention real fast. And
Yeah. Yeah.
while I was walking across Inverness Bridge, I stop, I turn around, and I look up, and I see that. And I'm thinking to myself, that's Inverness Castle. So I
Yeah.
walked through the pub, and I met a kind chap who just happened to be the owner of the pub. And we
Mm.
started talking. And I shared with him my Scottish roots and my Scottish ancestry, and we were
Mm.
talking. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
asked him, I'm sorry, did did I just cut you off? I'm sorry.
No, no, I was agreeing with you. I'm just listening to you talk. You good?
I appreciate your time, sir. And I was saying them, and I was talking to the owner of the Inverness pub, and I asked him about Inverness Castle. He goes, "Oh, the castle up on the hill," and I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Don't go up there." I'm like, "Don't go up there? Why not?" And said, "Just don't go up there. The road's blocked off." I said, "Okay." I didn't think much about it. I started
Mm.
talking to him about Loch Ness and telling him I'm going to go to your card bay tomorrow with my sister. And I'm really looking forward to this. I love the idea of the monster and love the whole thing. So they started sharing his story of the loch, and I heard, firsthand that night. It was raining, storming outside.
It always is.
So I pretty much was in the bubble night.
Mm.
And the hotel is up over Inverness Bridge. So um, I went back to the hotel in the morning, got in my room. My sister woke me up. We went to Loch Ness. The loch was just covered, blanketed in fog.
Yeah.
Couldn't see anything. Still kind of drizzling a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I walked to Urquhart Castle. There's a pathway that leads down to the water. So my sister went up in the tower at Urquhart Castle, and I went down the path to the water.
Mm.
I stuck my face in the water, and I had to throw some cold water on my face, wake up a little bit because I was still asleep. And
Yeah.
um, when I stuck my head under the water, I heard like this deep, like a deep type thing. It seemed like it was off in the distance.
Yeah.
I flipped my head back out of the water, and the fog's gone. It's bright. It's sunny. The sun's out. I swear, I was standing there in the land that time forgot. I was just like, wow, look at this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my sister was up in the tower at Urquhart Castle, and she goes, "Well, look." I said, "What? What?" She goes, "About 50 yards out." She said the water was like starting to act weird. It's like you have a bunch of waves,
Oh,
natural
okay.
waves,
Yeah. Yeah.
but right in the center of the water was turned around in a circle like a whirlpool.
Oh, wow.
I didn't see that because I was down on the ground. I was down in the water. She was up high, so
Oh, right.
bird's eye.
Right.
So she saw that. So needless to say, that gave me the bumps.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when I got home, I found out that Jimmy Page at that time was living off of Loch Ness
Mm.
in the old Aleister Crowley place.
Alistair, yeah, Alistair Crowley's place, yeah.
Boleskine. Well, I was going to say Boleskine Lodge, but the Boleskine House.
Yeah.
Well, at the same time, and I put two and two together. At the same time, Inverness Castle, which I couldn't get to the night before, the reason why the road was blocked out because Jimmy Page had owned that. And he was doing some remodeling, and he didn't want any looky-loos up there or whatnot, which made sense. So that was quite amazing to think that I was in Scotland, I was in Inverness, I was in Loch Ness, or at Loch Ness rather, at the same exact time, the same exact moment that Jimmy Page could have been about somewhere.
Right. Maybe when you were splashing the water on your face, he was doing the same thing on the other side of Loch Ness. You know, he was doing the same thing.
Oh, when I walked down to the water, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe he was doing the same thing over on the other side of the lake, you know.
Never know. You never know, you know.
Exactly.
It's just amazing. Absolutely amazing, the timing for that, and I'll never forget that. That's such a huge huge influence and inspiration to me,
Yeah.
that I had to get the push pull.
Oh, yeah, the Jimmy Page wiring.
Yeah, just on my neck pickup. This is the only guitar I have at the moment. This is a project that I started. I took like a regular 1960 tribute Gibson Les Paul studio, and I thought, oh, I want to do some full binding. So I took a razor blade and started going.
Hey, it works. It definitely works.
You know what I mean? And I went too far, so I was like, "Oh man, I got to even it up." So I kept going, and next thing I know, I got this. I was like, "Oh man!"
Hey, it looks cool to me, mate. Looks cool.
You know. And this originally was red cherry.
Oh right, so you stained it again?
Yeah.
Was it purple or something?
Purple. And then I also see that etching right there?
All right, yeah.
I took an etching gun and I etched a rose.
Oh, is that? Oh, okay.
For my niece Rosie.
Oh right, sweet.
And
very cool. Very cool.
My niece Rosie, and grown up to be quite a woman, I'll tell you. And that's it, really. I love getting to. That's my baby. That's, you know, I've got a guitar rack sitting here with 3 empty spots. So I'm hoping that I fill them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, it will happen, man. It will happen, I'm sure.
My love, I think, well, the love that to me, and I was listening to what you were talking about sports and guitar.
Mm. Oh yeah, choosing and yeah, what makes you happy and take the fun. Yeah, yeah.
It just kept coming back, you know. Have you ever had a memorable show, a memorable concert that you went to that just made you decide, I want to be on that stage?
Yeah, yeah. Well, especially when I was younger, I went and saw the Rolling Stones back in '95. I was like 15, I think, and I saw them on the Voodoo Lounge tour, and they had
Mhm.
that walking from the station in London to Wembley Stadium, and out of Wembley Stadium is this huge cobra, like a big metal snake coming out that was breathing fire and stuff.
Yes.
But just as we were walking up to I keep getting goosebumps there. As we were walking to the stadium, you can hear the Black Crows were like they were the support band and they were sound checking, and you could just hear them big guitar sounds, and that's when I was like, "This is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I'm supposed to do with my life." So yeah, like watching that was mind blowing at 15, you know. But I recently just got to see the Stones again when they played in New Orleans about 2 months ago or whatever, and
Ah,
I got to see it from a friend of mine who does the TV talk show that we were on yesterday. He actually gave me and my girlfriend like free passes in his kind of well, they call it a box, you know, where like you got like free drinks basically, and you just watch it from that box, you know, watch it. And I appreciated the Rolling Stones 100 times more now being nearly 40 than I did when I appreciate it when I was 15 because it
yeah.
was like, wow, this is like really cool, you know. But now, like, you know, I kept getting goosebumps and like shedding a tear, you know, from like watching these guys who basically they're in their 70s now, you know, like who knows, you know, how long the band's going to go for. I was like, I'm just going to soak up as much of this as I can, you know. And every time Keith Richards would play a big chord, you know, the sound guy, the sound guy would like just pump it through the speakers, and I was like, oh
Love
my,
it.
this is awesome right now. So yeah, I appreciated it way more. But yeah, we're going and seeing bands like that. Even my parents took me to see Chuck Berry when I was real young as well. So
Ah,
I got to see him perform, and that's where you learn. Watching people like that is where because music is all about performance as well, like actually putting on a show. And like you watch like Jimmy Page strut around and give it the swagger, and so does Keith, you know, and Chuck Berry. Like Chuck Berry comes up with like the coolest stage presence, you know. And I think that's one of the hardest things for like musicians, um, especially like when they're starting out. It's like, how do you perform? You know, how do you like you got an audience watching you, and you got to entertain them somehow with your songs, you know. And that's how, just by watching those guys, you know, you can actually learn a lot about performance and crowd interaction and stuff like that, you know. Everyone does it in their own right, but like actually like not being the shoegazer, the guy that just looks at the floor, you know, because he's nervous or like, I want to be here. But you actually got to have that like 100-mile stare and give it everything, you know. I think that initial concert at Wembley just did it for me. I was like, this is what I've got to do. This right here, Dad. This is what I've got to do in life, you know.
well, I hear you. You know, Tim, I feel you on that one. I like that eye to eye connection.
Mm,
That when I'm sitting and I'm talking to somebody, I like to look at them
mm,
right in their eyes.
mm,
I there's that connection of the mind, body, and soul
mm.
that it just nothing like it. You know?
These eyes, right?
Yeah. All right. You know,
Yeah, definitely.
I wow. Are you checking these comments out? Wow.
I don't even know how you do that. I'm not very good at this technical stuff.
Well, I understand. Well, let's see, Bam. Okay, we saw Bam's
Yeah, we
funny.
got.
Let's see. Amp modelers and profilers are not quite the same to play through as a valve amp, but they're good enough sound wise.
Yeah. 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 Exactly. That's it. Look, people are responding to what we were talking about an hour ago. Yeah, Kemper. They're good. I mean, if I had to use one, I would. What does that say? Oh yeah. No, I totally agree, Bam. Totally agree. Agree for that for sure.
Go down a little bit.
You
Mark
know, hey,
Davis.
let me respond to that guy, Bam, a minute. Hang on. What did he
Uh,
say? Can you go back one?
this one?
Yeah. Because like on a fly date, um, things like that, you know, like if let's say you're playing a pool party for like a UFC fighter and he's won something and you play his pool party, right? Um Playing it like a fly date for that is really simple. Yeah, like I totally agree with that. But like there's some there's some venues that I play over in America here, where they still like, especially like if you go like in the delta of Mississippi, places where they haven't had their power upgraded. If that makes sense, like the power and stuff. There's a few places we play where they're like on my Furman rack that's in my amp setup is telling
Mm-hmm.
me it's at 97 volts. Like you're not even getting 100 volts power. So when it actually underpowers the amp, it makes it feel different. You know what I mean? Valve amps are reacting differently to different power. I mean, there are things now where you can keep it, you can buy the Furman that you can raise it back up, and I think there's even like the voltage things where you can make it really hot and really cool and stuff. Those are the things where where the valve amps really shine. That early Van Halen sound is all to do with like the difference in voltages. You know what I mean? And you can't get that. And this is no disrespect, Bam. I'm just throwing a conversation out here, but I think if you have those Kempers and stuff, I think they're probably designed to keep the sound the same no matter what the voltage is. Because if it gets to a certain point, it's just going to switch off because it's not getting enough juice. Whereas an amp, like the valve amp's going to get to a certain point, it's going to get quieter. The less voltage, the heaters are dying down on the valves,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so you're not getting as much gain and stuff. It's really that's the kind of things that I find with valve amps which are kind of special, because you might find a place somewhere which has the perfect voltage that makes your amp, and that's the gig that you always love going to because your amp sounds special there. You know what I mean? And then you'll go somewhere else and it just sounds great. But then there might be one that just goes wow, and that's when the feel and the touch sensitivity between you and the amp. It doesn't matter about the pedals; it's about your fingers through your guitar and the amp can make a massive difference. And that's one thing. I mean, at least I suppose if you're using a Kemper or something like that, it'll be consistent gig to gig, But I haven't made that jump yet. But yeah, for pool parties and stuff like that, yeah. But then I like to just get on. I like to get on a plane with a tiny pedal board. I don't really use many pedals. Just a small pedal board, tuner, like like some overdrive pedal and a like I use the Friedman Dirty Shirley into one of those 2 notes. Works good enough for me. But Bam, you might have to meet up one day and you can show me your Kemper so I can plug into it.
Mark Taylor says, I am Scottish also. I didn't know that, Mark. That's wonderful. When Mark visited England 14 years ago, he wanted to go to Scotland but never made it. It's just something about that rich history. I mean, all over Europe, for sure. But it's, Mark also says, my ancestors.
Yeah, Orkney Islands. I know what he means.
Yeah.
It's funny, actually, because my Sweetwater guy, you know, Sweetwater, the company Sweetwater that you can buy your gear from. My rep, or whatever you call him, the Sweetwater agent, his name's Evan, and he was actually going to England on a vacation with his friends. And I told him, I was like, spend more time in Edinburgh, because you can go to London, but you're never going to do everything because there's so much to do. But if you want to see some real, like, if you want to drink some good beer, and you want to like see some cool historical sites, I was like, go to Edinburgh, because you know, like Edinburgh, London, Paris, back I think it was like the Black Plague or something. They literally entombed the city. It's called the catacombs, you know, and Edinburgh's got catacombs. Paris have got the catacombs, and you know, basically you can go on ghost tours now where you actually go down to the old city. You know, I love stuff like that. Historical places, you know.
Beautiful indeed.
But yeah, he did. He drank lots of beer.
Harmony right here. She always was kind enough. Hi, Will. Hi, Tim.
Hey, Harmony.
Harmony always. Harmony promoted the show today on Twitter.
Oh, wow, cool.
And I can never thank her enough. She's been a guest on the show. And she is such a lovely, lovely soul, lovely, lovely person. And every week she always promotes my stuff. I thank, and I can't thank Harmony enough for seeing my importance to do that.
Yeah, that's great.
That's the kind of stuff that hits me right there. Mark Taylor says, "Hey, Harmony." There's Harmony saying hi to Bam and everybody. Let's go down here a couple.
That's my cousin Jack.
Hello.
He's texting me now as well. Yeah, it's Jack. He's over in England, so he's actually in on this from England. That's great. Jack.
Thank you for being here. My name is Will. This is the Dreaming Guitarist Show. Thank you so much for being here, sir. Thank you. Oh, Stones and am I reading this right? 86 or 89?
88 or 89.
Amazing. Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Harmony. I saw the Voodoo Lounge tour as
yeah,
well.
That was a good tour.
At the Red Hot Chili Peppers were opening up for them. And Buddy Guy was the first.
Oh, yeah. I think he still does a lot with him, Buddy Guy.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Buddy Guy blew me away. I was just like, he just came out, a little tweed, his strat, somebody, his assistant or his roadie brought a chair out for him. He just sat down in a chair on this gigantic stage and just reached over and turned the volume up, dimed the volume on his little Fender Tweed. And he played for about 45 minutes.
Oh,
I
wow.
was just like, one of my childhood inspirations right here in front of my face, just sitting there by himself. And I'm thinking, bless you. Wow. I was just shaking my head at that. That was amazing. And then the Chili Peppers came out. They did their thing. And then they were good. They're real good. They sounded great. The production was great. And then the Stones came out.
Yeah, awesome.
And of course, when the Stones hit the stage, that was it.
Badass.
Amazing.
When was that? 95, you said?
I love the Stones so much. I always have. I wonder, I have a picture right here of Sir Mick that was painted in oil paints. Just an amazing, right up here on the wall. Man, how can I do this? It just absolutely amazing. I'm just trying to think, how can I show this? The Stones, and whenever the Stones do something, it's always Ronnie Wood, Charlie Watts, Keith, Sir Mick. You know, it's like, well, just the whole production, the whole package, the whole thing. Mind blowing. Harmony's amazing. Mark, they say it was their last tour.
I'm sure my cousin Jack uses a Kemper. I'm sure he uses one. I'm sure he'll chime in when he hears about the Kemper stuff. That's funny.
Well, I'll tell you, but there's something that I always do. There's something that I always like to cap a good conversation off with. And the reason why I do this, what I'm gonna do right now, Tim, is because this is just until I have.
Sorry.
No,
I just
that's
had to plug my phone back in. It was running out of battery.
That's okay. I always like to end the show by telling everybody, stay inspired.
Sure.
Follow your inspirations, follow your goals. The whole reason why I started this YouTube channel is I want to inspire other people to be the best that they could possibly be.
Yeah.
To discover
it's important. It's important.
You know, from the time when I was a child, I was a little one, and I was going to the country club, in San Fernando Valley, Walter and Riss Miller's Country Club. The very first concert I ever went to was Motley Crue.
Oh yeah.
Mick Mars was standing 2.5 feet above the ground, right in front of me, staring right into my eyes, staring right into my heart, right into my soul. And it was that and Quiet Riot,
Quite right.
Randy Rhoads, Rudy Sarzo, Drew Forsythe on drums, Kevin Dubrow, vocals, and Randy Rhoads.
Wow.
Randy Rhoads.
Yeah, man.
When you have that kind of entity in front of you and you're an impressionable young kid, it just that's something you never forget. I'm always so,
Did that inspire you to get a flying V then in the end, or did you ever buy a flying V in the end, like a Randy Rhoads one?
I did. I did.
I've never been able to get my head around a flying V. I can't sit with it. I can't sit down and play it. And
True.
standing up just looks ridiculous on me. I don't know what it is. There's something about a flying V. You got to be a certain kind of person to play a flying V. Like I've got some big 335 guitars, and they're big, but they're, you know what I mean? Like they're cool. They're like fun to throw around. But flying V's I just find them awkward. So I don't know.
Well,
Can't get my head around those.
Michael Schenker.
Right.
He just takes the V and he just turns it sideways a little bit, and he locks his body into place, and he uses his body as a wedge to push the V up and lock his arm, lock his left arm, his fingering arm, and his right pick hand, and lock his shoulders. And he just locks himself into place. That's how he even says that himself. Yeah.
I can't even get my head around playing like that though. I've seen Zakk Wylde use one of those old flying V's as well, like on that what was that film? Rockstar? Was it Rockstar? The film Rock? I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's who's in it? It's Mark Wahlberg and stuff, you know, it's about like a rock band and stuff. But Zakk Wylde's in that, like all shaven, and he's not like in his Black Label Society looking days. But yeah, he'll play flying V down there looking all whirr. Funny.
Yeah. I love that. Does Friedman with Grover Jackson make a flying V yet?
No clue. I haven't tried any of their guitars. I haven't tried them, but I mean, maybe. I think they just do more of the Charvel, you know, San Dimas kind of looking guitars. I think, but I can't be quoted on that because I have no idea. You have to ask Dave himself for that, or one of the guitar stores that probably carry them.
Well, I know, and yes, rock and roll relic guitars, they captured my attention for sure. The hollow body. Have you seen the hollow body that looks like a Gretsch Falcon?
Yeah, I've got one. I've got one downstairs. Yeah,
I love those guitars.
It's called the Lightning. It's got the lightning bolt instead of the F hole. It's got a lightning bolt. Yeah, I've got one downstairs.
I've never had a chance to play one of those, but I would love to, let alone own one. I first found out about rock and roll relic guitars from Bruce Kulick.
Oh, okay.
He was
Yeah,
playing a guitar.
he had like his own like a Les Paul Junior type, like a Sunburst.
Yeah.
He had a few of those made. Yeah, I remember trying one of those at where did I try it? I can't remember where I tried it now, but yeah, it was like a Sunburst Les Paul Junior type guitar. He had like about 12 of them made, I think, something like that. But yeah, though, Billy makes some good, especially that are roadworthy. Like I wouldn't want to take any of the old Les Pauls out anymore.
No.
You know, crazy.
No. Well, I had a dream, actually. Uh, your cousin.
Yeah. Jack. Good man. Yeah, he's got a Kemper. So he's like he's on the same wave, you know, like he's talking about, you know, when you're in the studio, like having a plug-in compressor versus the actual real thing, you know. You can make the real thing do way different things and have more fun with them. There's always some work to be done around 4 kilohertz with the XFX or Kemper. He's getting all tech talk with us. You'll have to get Jack on one of these things. He's a producer in England. He does a lot of stuff like that. Does a lot of guitar stuff.
I'd love to have him on.
Mm.
I would love to have your cousin on.
Yeah,
I really would. I'd love to.
He actually plays drums for EMF at the moment. He's the drummer for those guys.
Does he have an XFX 3, by the way? That brand new one?
Not sure. I know he's got a Kemper. I don't know if he's got the XFX, but he's probably worked with the XFX because I think those, especially the big metal guys, they love all those XFX and stuff, you know.
Well, until I can get to the point to have my own XFX, I was listening. Are you familiar with Mark Day's work? Mark Day?
Mark Day. Yeah, Mark Day. Yeah. Yeah, I know Mark.
I love the sounds. I love the tones he's getting with the new XFX 3.
Oh, I've not seen. Yeah, I've not seen.
Bam says, I just like flying bass.
I'm with you. I'm with you, Bam.
Traditional.
You know what's funny though? The Firebirds are an awkward guitar to play, but they sound crazy good in the studio. Those Firebird pickups, they're almost like a Telecaster sound, but thicker. So they're like in between, like a P90 and a single coil. They sit even more closer of a single coil. They're great. They're real good, those minis, especially on clean stuff.
Well, I appreciate your kindness. I appreciate your time. And I definitely, please ask your cousin to throw me a line. Please pass my
man.
email address to him. I'd love to have him on.
Yeah, sure.
I thank you, Tim. You are such a magnificent inspiration to me.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. I seriously, I thank you and I appreciate your time.
Cool.
I appreciate your kindness and I appreciate your sincerity and your true love for fine gear. And
tone, man. It's all about tone.
It's all about tone.
It's in your fingers, though.
Yes.
Most of it comes from here, but like you can accentuate it with good gear. So.
And for all the Garaholics out there, like
I've just
myself.
yeah, man.
I I want to thank everybody for being in the chat room. Your cousin, thank you. Thank you very much, sir, for being in the chat room. I
Yeah,
thank
me and Jack stalk each other on social media. That's what it is.
Oh, I'd love to.
Yeah.
Jack by himself or Jack and you. I'd love to. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I would
All right.
I would not pass up on that chance.
I will definitely speak to him and figure something out. We can discuss Kempers in detail then for Bam. Bam will be excited about that one.
Oh, absolutely. Getting to the band. What are the next dates? Are there any show dates that you would like to share?
I'm always on the road. I'm always on the road. I've got like a couple of days off, and then I'm playing. I'm actually playing down here in the town I live in at the moment. But yeah, you can go to our tour page and have a look where we're playing. We're not playing much of West Coast at the moment. With the Thursday we're going, I think, is Texas before the new year. But we'll be back over in California next year sometime. So yeah, I mean, I could announce all the dates for you, but I'll be sitting here for like an hour telling you how much, like, each individual day, because we're always on the road. So.
Well, I appreciate your time, Tim.
All right, man.
If you'll hold on for a couple minutes, I'm
Sure.
just a couple. I won't keep you much longer, but thank you. I Harmony. I'm not it. Bama's more interested in the Helix.
Yeah, I bet it's way easier to carry those around.
Nice
to meet. Nice to meet you too, Harmony. Hey, if we do another one with my cousin Jack, I'll actually pull my amps out of the out of our band trailer, and I'm sure Jack can do it from his studio, and we'll have a big battle, a battle of the amps versus the Kemper.
I would love
we'll solve some problems doing that. We'll probably actually open a can of worms, but
well, it's all about the adventure, right?
It is.
Well, everybody out there in Dreamerland, you've been watching the Guitarist Dreaming Show with my very honorable and special guest, Mr. Tim Steffens.
Woo!
And I thank you. Mr. Steffens thanks you. And on that note, be sure to tune in tomorrow at 9 a.m. where I'll be doing a demo of my recently purchased Positive Grid Bias Effects 2.
Oh,
I'm looking forward to that. That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
If you'll hold on for a second, Tim, I'll be right with you.
No worries.
And thank you, everybody. And please be sure to check out the links in the description box below. All of Mr. Steffens' links are down in there. Check them out. His contact info, email, check it all out. Tim is a wonderful, wonderful, amazing person. Real nice guy and a great guy and a great artist.
You're too kind. Too kind.
Yeah. That is all right. What's your kitty's name?
She's called Ori. Ori. Ori.
I have Frankie.
She's not a good kitty. She likes to knock things over in a way.
No,
likes
that's okay.
She likes to knock things over, but we're good.
I have Frankie and Annie. They're my I love my cats. I have a connection with cats probably more than I do any other animal.
Yeah.
They're mysterious and they're inspirational. Just something
Yeah.
different.
They don't do what you say. If you tell them not to do something, they're going to do it for some reason. Crazy cats.
Well, thank you everybody for tuning in, and check out the Mo Giles band.
Do
There's a
it.
video. Yeah,
You can
there's
check
a
us out on like iTunes and Spotify. That's the best place to check us out.
download
Actually,
on iTunes.
the original stuff.
Amazing. I watched a performance last night on a show, TV show of some sorts that was just absolutely mind blowing.
Oh, okay.
Wonderful.
Mhm.
Wonderful, wonderful. Check it out. Check out the Mo Giles band, folks. You want to check this out.
Mhm.
Very, very talented, very amazing. All the musicians in the band, including the Honorable Mr. Steffens.
Yeah, Stevens is right. Stevens is right. You're good.
Stevens,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. Yeah.
I Mr. Stevens. Thank you, everybody, for being here on the guitar, being a part of the chat room, the Guitar Streaming Show. And don't forget, Positive Grid, Bias Effects 2, 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Check out my PayPal link. You like my content? $1 is all I require to take one step further in furthering my musical vision. Just $1 from enough people will bring it to life. And I thank you, everybody. And on behalf of the Honorable Mr. Stevens, the Mo Giles band that I can't highly recommend enough. This is Will, Guitar Streaming Pre-52. See you next stream.
See you later.
All right, almost 2 hours. Wow.
You done?
Yeah. Unbelievable. He wants to come back to the show, and he's always on the road with the Mo Giles band. But he tells me that I'd make in his exact words, I'd make a good ambassador for Friedman amplification.
For who?
For Friedman amplification.
Friedman amplification.
Yeah, Friedman amps.
Oh, all right.
The Friedman who makes my pedals
Oh, all right.
and stuff, and the Dirty Shirley and the Golden Pearl there for a pedal board I want to put together, and the pop pedal I have. And yeah, so yeah, we had a good chat. He said he wants to come back, and his cousin Jack from England showed up in the chat room. He wants Jack to come on the show.
All right.
And when his cousin comes back on the show, he'll come back. I said, perfect. This is the guy that was the guitar player for EMF or AMF. Their big hit was Unbelievable. You're unbelievable. Whoa.
All right.
And if I played it, I'm sure you've heard it before.
Yeah, I'm sure I have.
Well, I was talking to that guy. And
Well, I think that's great, honey. Are you pleased with everything the way it turned out?
yeah, but I asked him to hold on for a second so I could talk to him off camera, just me and him, and ask him a few things. But guess he had to go. They have a gig in an old theater tonight in Mississippi because he lives in Mississippi now.
Okay.
He showed me his cat. I met his cat. And we had a good talk about Europe and Scotland and Loch Ness. I mean, the conversation was more focused on Friedman gear and rock and roll relic guitars because he plays rock and roll relic guitars. Has like 6 of them. He takes on the road with them. And just enough, just for different tunings, for different songs.
Okay, I have to go to the bathroom, but before I go, I want to tell you, I was an hour on the phone waiting for you at the United States Postal Service to find out if they could tell me when my DMV thing was delivered to DMV. So I'd have ammunition when I called DMV. It was delivered into the post office on the 13th, mailed on the 11th from here. I have all the documents. Mailed on the 11th, arrived at DMV in Sacramento the 13th at 5:57 in the morning, and then on the 13th at 8:32, it was put in the post office box for DMV. So they've got it. So then I got on the phone with DMV, and I waited almost an hour for DMV. Come to find out, they have not processed. I told her all this. She's okay. We've got it. The problem is we are 4 to 6 weeks behind schedule.
I believe it.
She said we have not processed it yet. Your late fees will be waived. And she said, I said, should I go to AAA? And she says, don't go to AAA and write them a check, because we will cash your check. When we get it, we will cash it. And so she said, just be patient and wait for us another couple of weeks. And I said, okay, I'm writing everything down here. And I've got a folder that I leave in my car in case a policeman pulls me over. She says, we have notified all law enforcement in California that we are way behind and not to stop anybody for that. And I said, okay, well, that's good. She said, it's been 4 weeks. She said, we should cash your check and you should get your tags at about November 1st. So I said, next year, I'll just go to $55. I'll join DMV and I'll go and pay it at DMV. She says, that's great because we have hundreds of thousands of envelopes coming in every day. That'll just be one less envelope for us to process. And you get your tags right then. I says, okay. Anyway, it's been a good morning for both of us. So I'm going to go out and put that folder in the car. And the whole thing, the whole history's right there, Will, in case you do get stopped. All right, congratulations, son. I'm glad it went well.
But he disappeared before I could talk to him, but we did talk for quite a while. I understand. Disappeared before I could talk to him, but we did talk for quite a while. I understand. always like to cap a good conversation off with. And the reason why I do this, what I'm gonna do right now, Tim, is because it's just until I have.
Sorry.
No, that's
I had to plug my phone back in. It's running out of battery.
That's okay. I always like to end the show by telling everybody stay inspired.
Sure.
Follow your inspirations, follow your goals. The whole reason why I started this YouTube channel is that I want to inspire other people to be the best they could possibly be.
Yeah.
To discover
It's important. It's important.
You know, from the time when I was a child, I was a little one and I was going to the country club in San Fernando Valley, Wilton Risk Motors Country Club. The very first concert I ever went to was Motley Crue.
Oh, yeah.
Mick Mars was standing 2.5 feet above the ground, right in front of me, staring right into my eyes, staring right into my heart, right into my soul. And it was that and Quiet Riot.
Quite right.
Randy Rhoads, Rudy Sarzo, Drew Forsythe on drums, Kevin DuBois, vocals, and Randy Rhoads.
Wow.
Randy Rhoads.
Yeah, man.
Hey, what's up, my friend Calic and I here, and in a moment, I'm going to pull out my computer, and I'm going to show you exactly how it is that I went from...
Hey everyone, Eric Genie here from Music View Network. If you have not had a chance to check out my Line 6 Spider V240 Mark II amp review, we'll put a link to that in the description. Today I'm unboxing the FBV3 from Line 6. Let us begin. There she is. FBV3 Advanced Foot Controller. That's what I meant to say, the foot controller.
That's great. That means you got Healy Craft.
Spider 240 amp. So it just kind of works as the foot controller, so you can press on the
Oh, that's where you spider out. That's wonderful.
Banks pedal. In a way, it's similar to the Helix LT. Yeah, I think we should get into this. Another box. All right, here we are. Chords, manual, pretty sure. Here's the thing itself.
So I could use that for Spider 4.
Stickers. Important thing here. Yep. Just basically agreement stuff if you break off that sticker or seal. What I can say is that I don't expect it to be this heavy. It's not like heavy, but yeah, this is small. This is small, but the pedal feels amazing. I can say that for sure. That is awesome. I like that. We got some plastic, so we got some good plastic. Show that off. Super clean. Mechanical kind of switches. We like to as well. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the banks here.
Amazing.
Just gonna wrap this stuff up here. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please give it a like. It would be very much appreciated. If you could also subscribe, also do that too. We'll make sure to give you more videos like this, and maybe even more entertaining videos to your liking to come. And we'll see you later. So, cheers from all of us here at Music Gear Network. Thank you so much for 13,000 subscribers. Here's to many more. I want you to get better at playing blues guitar solos, and I want to keep it really simple. You probably learned to play and then life got in the way and you barely picked up guitar for a few years, maybe many years. Now you've got some time and that love of playing guitar is still there, but it's an overwhelming nightmare trying to work out where to start learning again. Now the first step toward becoming a great lead guitar player, especially when it comes to blues, is to truly master the pentatonic blues scales. Not kind of know them, but truly master them. Now that's the problem. I wanted to start with this course. Nothing fancy, nothing long-winded, nothing but small, simple steps to master your pentatonic blues scales that will make you noticeably better every week. 10-minute pentatonics is a very simple but very effective learning method where you follow along with a series of videos and start by showing you how to play each scale shape. But not only that, here's what makes this course unique. We give you 5 specific exercises that will give you dramatic results in just 7 days. Now, when you follow this video guide, you don't just learn how to play the scales, you truly master them too. You just need 10 minutes a day to follow along, and we only focus on the key things that make you improve quickly. This is specifically for guitar players who want to get great at playing killer blues solos. It all starts by truly mastering that pentatonic scale. All you need to do is follow the link at the end of this ad, and you'll go to a page that tells you a little bit more about the course. Now, you can then choose if you want the online course or a DVD sent to you in the mail, whatever you prefer. 10 minutes a day doesn't sound like much, but our video practice sessions are laser focused on creating muscle memory in your fingers, specifically for the pentatonic scale. That's why you'll see results so quickly. The great thing is, not only will you learn the scales better than ever before, you'll unlock the fretboard, allowing you to play across the entire neck, and your finger speed will improve dramatically too. Right now, if you want to take a big step closer to playing like Clapton, B.B. King, Hendrix, and all those other blues legends, click the link and let me show you how to master your pentatonic blues scales fast.
Right, turned on.
I know I told you I'd call, but somebody stole a phone.
Anybody know this sound? Yeah, well, I'll show you how to get rid of that. You can see I've already taken a little piece of this out of here. So this is just a piece of foam to make feet for, I don't know, an appliance or a box or something. And it's got some PHP tape on the back.